going on in this kitchen. Morning. Sorry, I've got notifications that keep popping up everywhere. It drives me nuts. Drives me crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay, so I've got Christmas music on. It's just me. I've just been doing some housework. Sorry, I've got 1,000,001 notifications that are just popping up, which is driving me crackers. And dealing with the carnage of the boys that have gone. As you can see, I've got my tray in the back. And it's nice and peaceful. And I have my friend. Honestly, this whole place is full of dinosaurs. Full of this shit. It's literally everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. So, I was thinking about this. And I don't know much about anything. I really don't know a lot about many things. But I do know, and I'm learning it all the time, with boys. But obviously I don't have a comparison. I don't have girls. I have 2 boys, a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. Okay? Now, I don't know about you mums out there, but salute with boys. Oh. Honestly, do you sometimes just think, give me something, child? Give me something to go on here. Like, seriously, what's your problem? Now, I'd heard, my nails are wet. I'd heard that, these bloody notifications drive me mad. I had heard that when a boy gets to the age of 7, something happens to them. And I don't know whether anybody can actually clarify this for me because I'm a little confused. Something at 7 apparently chemically happens to them. And I have no idea what it is. Absolutely no idea what it is. I'm as confused as hell. So we've made this mini army. The nation has made like this mini little army that are completely confusing the shit out of me. These little people completely confuse the shit out of me. So, Jacob's hit 7 and he's got this massive, full-on attitude to rival me. Confrontation, things like that don't bother me at all. So I knew my boys would always be a little bit, you know, they'd be absolutely fun. Nick is very quiet and I'm just like, it's fine. So, with Jacob, and this is where some mums will need to help me out here because I'm completely confused by it, but if anybody has experience with it, then just tell me it's all gonna be fine. Just tell me it's gonna be fine. But Jacob's hit this age of 7 and he's got this full-on attitude. So I actually had to go completely batshit crazy on him. Morning, Shaney, babe. I had to go crackers on him to try break him a bit, to be honest. He needed to come down a little bit. So as I told you before on my other vlog, I took back his Christmas presents because I wasn't having that. I'm not bringing up a brat. Right, my 2 boys, I'm not bringing up brats. So I thought, no, I'm not rewarding that behaviour. So anyway, the other day when he came out swimming, he actually said to my mum and dad that they were in this lovely little village and they were having lunch. And there was, behind them, there was a church, a very pretty church with a nice little, well, it's a nice church, but if you can say a graveyard is nice. It was pretty, it was well kept, okay? Jacob wanted to go into the graveyard. And he wanted a picture of a gravestone. I don't know what goes on in this kid's head, but he wanted a picture of a gravestone, okay? I have no idea where this come from. We are not the Addams family, okay? I know I'm a little bit gothic at times, but we are not the Addams family. So he wanted this picture of a gravestone, okay? Now, Mum WhatsApped me and she just said he wanted a picture of a gravestone. I was like, oh, okay, that's a little bit odd, but don't get some random, like have some meaning to it. So they then went to Fritton and they went to my granddad's grave. Okay. I know, Shaney, right? I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, what next? The kid cows me, seriously. I'm just so confused by him. But anyway, apparently that's this thing that a 7-year-old goes through in their head. Oh, sometimes I seriously question it. Not built for this shit, girls. So anyway, he wanted this gravestone picture. So, what happened was, these friggin' notifications, there's my mum and sister talking about Dulcie and her potty training, for goodness sake. So anyway, he wanted this picture of the stone. So he saw my granddad Walker, which is my dad's dad, and my nanny as well. Okay, my nanny Walker. They're both passed. And they're in a not in like a tub, obviously. They're not in a tub. They are in a grave together, which is real sweet. But he had this picture. Okay. Then he wanted to go into the church. So Dad was like, all right, okay, we can go into the church. So they then went into the church. So I don't know whether this is a 7-year-old being inquisitive, or if anybody's got experience of this, you're going to have to let me know, because this really was confusing. So he wanted to go into the church and he bought a diary. Actually, it's here. Okay, he bought a diary. Can you see that? He bought a diary. Fine, kids do go for stationery and stuff, so that's no problem. I ain't got a problem with that. So he went for this diary, okay? Well then, when he come home, my dad dropped him off, Mum and Dad dropped him off home. He would not leave my dad's side. I shit you not. My dad was sitting there and they were cuddled up watching a film. And when my dad went to go, my mum and dad went to go, he was a mess. He was an absolute state. My son, he was so emotional. Really emotional. Please, Grandad, no, don't go. Please, Grandad, no, don't go. Well, me and Nick couldn't figure this out, could we? We couldn't figure this out at all. And then my mum said, I think it's because we've been to the grave. Now, a couple of years ago, he would have been like, where have you brought me? What is this? He wouldn't have had a clue. He would have had no idea. But he's hit this age of 7, this tender age of 7. So if there's any mummies out there who have boys and they're young at the minute, 7 years old, something, I tell you, something happens. Not that they're going to ask to go see a graveyard and have a picture of a gravestone, but bear with me there. They could come out with something even weirder. Oh, look at that. I can see him. He's on top of the tree. Yeah, there he is. I just see him there. So anyway, he was so emotional, like you would not believe emotional. I don't know what to do with him. He's crying his bloody head off. Like proper, couldn't breathe, crying. Wow, okay. Well then after an hour, he'd sat with his daddy. And after an hour he said, I don't want my granddad to go. That was what was bothering him. That was why he was so upset. I think it's because he'd seen my granddad's stone. He said, I don't want my granddad to go. So we wouldn't let him go. He wouldn't let him go anywhere. He just stuck to him like glue. He just completely stuck to him like glue. He would not let him go. He was super emotional. And I must say, it really did confuse the absolute shit out of me. Completely confused me. It completely confused me. Totally. So if there's a whole ton of stuff I could tell you that confuses me on the absolute friggin' daily with boys. If there's any mummies out there who have had a boy go through something at the age of 7, you have to tell me what you do with it, because I'm not going to be going to graveyards. We're not going to any more graveyards. I can tell you that now. Honestly, don't judge. I have no idea where it come from. This is the most lamest Christmas song ever, isn't it? So yeah, that was that with Jacob. Completely confused me. Jessie was just like, this ain't a ball pit. Like, what is this place? Like, he had no clue, obviously, because he's 4. So, 7 years old seems to be a tender age where they want to take on the world, take on their mum, take on their dad, take on everyone. So what my mum said is, which is really, really sweet, like really, really sweet, to try help him, because there's obviously something going on there that perhaps he doesn't understand. Perhaps, I don't know. So anyway, he's, what she said she'd do is get a big frame, you know, one of them big frames where you can get all the pictures in, like you can put loads of different pictures in. And she's going to put a picture of each of the family there. So he's got something in his bedroom where he's got all of his family in one frame, thinking that might actually help him a little bit. Because me and Nick are going with it, but we are a little bit like, this is bizarre. Sporadic. Random behaviour. It's crazy. I thought I was crazy, but it's really crazy. It's really crazy. So yeah, this morning, trying to get him out the door, you can see, I mean, look, it's like, come on, as most mums are in the morning, they just don't want to move, do they? So anyway, if anybody has any advice on bringing up boys, we only had girls in the family, so if anybody's got any advice on bringing up boys, then pop your advice below, because sometimes I feel completely confused by these boys. They're, honestly, they're messy. They fight and fight. Crazy, absolute crazy. So if you have any advice or tips, help a mama out. Because sometimes I'm just like, what am I doing wrong? So yeah, if you have any tips, then that'd be great. Just experiences, if you have nephews or anything like that, experiences, fabulous. Anything is amazing. I take advice for everything. So yeah, that was it. Basically, the thing that happens when they're sort of 7 years old, I don't know about it scientifically, but apparently there's something to it. I have absolutely no idea. But all I know is these little people. They're crazy and confusing. I can tell you that now. Anyway, you have a lovely day. I just thought I'd put it out there. Especially if any mums are like having a similar thing. A similar thing with you can't call them preteens, can you? Because they're like 7. That's not preteen. But if they're hormonal like a preteen, and we can help each other out, maybe. That'd be cool. Anyway, I'm going to leave you to it now. You have a great day. Much love.